Okay.
Manchester City.
Man U.
Man U, fine.
Oh, I should have done Man City.
It doesn't matter.
All right, Man U first. Obviously, I would say the more polarizing one, just because of the fact that every year it seemed like it was their year, right? Every year they were going to win the league. But that ended up not being the case last year. Fell very short. I can't remember. Are they in the conference or are they in Europa?
They're in Europa.
They're in Europa. Okay, so they.
Hey, this is Manchester United we're talking about here.
Oh, true.
Shout out True Jordy. Yeah?
And so again, top arrivals for them. Lisandro Martinez coming in for 57 mil. They got Eriksson on a free transfer, which is a nice pickup. Malacia, which Josh pointed out in the Liverpool section, going for 15 mil. And then the big transfers that left, Pogba, obviously being the big one, going to Juve. Jesse Lingard, unfortunately, going to Nottingham Forest. Actually, fortunate, because I actually do like him. Dean Henderson going there as well to Nottingham Forest. They lost Pereira and Matic to Roma. All right. The Ten Hag era begins officially for Man U.
Right now.
What do you see as their future?
I will say about Manchester United that their departures, while it says top departures on there, I don't necessarily think that they lost anyone that really would have provided them. Like, I don't think they're really losing out on any impact players per se. Mm-hmm. I mean, we all know Pogba's world class in his day, but that doesn't come around too often these days.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting. I think they do have a lot of talented players. Mm-hmm. Obviously, like Rashford, Bruno, Jadon Sancho, Harry Maguire. You know, he's pretty good. Mm-hmm. But I just don't. I think that from what I've seen in preseason for them so far, they've been one of the teams that I feel like had a like not necessarily a standout preseason, but I think that you can clearly see what Ten Hag is trying to do with them, mm-hmm. with his high pressing, with his really good 3-5-2 ball retention, keeping the ball in the attacking half, winning the ball back, being quick on the counters, going through lines as fast as possible. I think we saw that in their last game where Ronaldo played like 3 backwards wall passes, and then Ten Hag was not too happy about that. So he wants to really get the ball in the attacking third and attack as quick as possible and get the ball through the lines. But I'm just not sure if they... Yeah. I think they have a lot of attacking talent, I think you can say. But I'm just not sure if their midfield is strong enough. I feel like Manchester United fans would agree that they've needed that midfielder, especially that center defensive midfielder, whether that's been, you want to play De Jong there, or you want to play someone like a Declan Rice in there who's been linked to them in the past. But I think that the midfield is probably one of the weakest midfields they've had in forever, I would say. And then defensively, Varane obviously is class, but he was injured a good amount last season. Lisandro Martinez coming in, I think is going to be a good player for them. I think the questions about his height and like what he can do against Premier League players is a little bit overblown, because playing at Ajax in the Champions League, I feel like you're going to come across great players all the time. And so I think that he'll help them, whether he ends up playing as a left-sided center back, either a left back or a like that holding 6 player. But I just don't know. I think for Ten Hag's first season, he's going to definitely take his time to adapt to the Prem and really see what it's about. And then maybe in the next year or two, if Manchester United gives him the time to do that, we'll really see what they're about, especially with losing Ronaldo too and those guaranteed goals up front. Yeah. If they go into the season with Martial, Rashford, and Sancho as their front line, as much as I like Rashford, Sancho, Martial, maybe not so much. I just don't think that they have enough guaranteed goals either to really keep up with the rest of the pack.
Yeah, I mean, I think defense for me is the biggest thing. You know, you got Harry Maguire still there, kind of leading the back line. And, you know, his kind of mishaps to me are just, it just makes no sense as to why he's still on the team necessarily, because I think that he really contributes to a lot of their losses, more so in terms of, you know, scoring own goals. Not really scoring that many, but again, it may be over exaggerated, but
contributes to lots of goals scored.
Yeah, and again, you know, De Gea, decent goalkeeper now. I think that, you know, the Real Madrid links are long and gone. But I do think that what Ten Hag needs, and I think Man United and the Glazers need to realize that this is going to be a long-term project. This isn't something that's going to be cured overnight. This isn't something that's going to be done over one season. You have to really take your time with this squad and really take your time to really mold it under the Ten Hag way. Because I felt like there was times where Man United, they continue to me, like the only way that they will ever go beyond what they need to do is if they understand like a player profile instead of trying to sign the big names. Because again, they keep going for these big names and it ends up not working each and every time. They just need to find players that fit the system of the manager. and from there you can start building there. And Ten Hag may or may not be the guy, but if you build the team around with the Ten Hag way, maybe you'll have much more success than what they've had in the past couple seasons.
I think I agree, especially on the transfer strategy part, because one of the things at Liverpool that gets lauded a lot is that our transfer strategy team, whether that's Julian Ward now or Michael Edwards in the past, is that they identify types of players that they want that will fit the system rather than glitz glam signings for big money that just will come in and sell shirts. And as much as I feel like Ronaldo, Sancho, Varane were, well, I guess Sancho's a really good player now and for the future, but definitely Ronaldo and Varane were brand signings, I would say, as much as anything. And so I think that for them, really giving Ten Hag the keys to this team and to the organization to be able to buy players that he wants, implement his system, and have time to do so, I think will definitely play out well in the long run, because I feel like Ten Hag is a good manager, and you can clearly see that he's a very intense manager, which is what I feel like Manchester United have been lacking, especially in these last couple of years, where under Ole, it seems like the players just, if they didn't want to turn up for a day, they didn't turn up. Whereas under Ten Hag, if you don't turn up, doesn't matter who you are, you're going to be out the door. Yeah. Especially what we've seen what happened with Ronaldo as well. And then also you're talking about De Gea. I think that De Gea are undoubtedly one of the best shot stoppers in the world. But even in preseason, I watched one of their last game against Atletico, and they were playing out through the back, and De Gea was passing the ball with Maguire like a couple times, and then like he would get it back, and then he would just kick it out for a goal kick, and they would cut right to Ten Hag, and he'd be super angry and just kind of like, I feel like De Gea's not necessarily his time has come, because I kind of like I said, he's one of the best shot stoppers in the world, but if you're at that next evolution under Ten Hag, I feel like they may need to go for a goalkeeper who's better with his feet and definitely better with distribution. So whether that's Dean Henderson after he comes back from loan, or they go out and buy a new goalkeeper, we'll see. But I think definitely Manchester United needs to look towards the future, and whether that's selling some of these older players and moving on and really embracing Ten Hag, or building through the youth. Like Alejandro Garnacho looked really good in their last game. So they have a lot of interesting young players, but I think if they give Ten Hag time to work stuff out, I think he'll be really good for them in the long run.
Yeah. And again, let us know, Man United fans, are you excited for your future? Are you excited about the players that you bring in? Or are you concerned about the Ten Hag era starting off with lackluster name brand signings that you're used to? Let us know in the comments section down below.